In the grand, brutal theater of the natural world, there is no greater gamble than parenthood. It is an investment of energy, a risk of life and limb, all for the singular purpose of continuing a lineage.
For decades, our vision of prehistoric parents was a cold and reptilian one, creatures that simply laid their eggs and abandoned them to fate. But the stones have begun to tell a different story, a far more complex and surprisingly tender narrative of devotion. But how do we rank a parent from a lost world? Our countdown is not based on emotion, but on... To earn a place on this list, our contenders will be judged on 4 crucial, scientifically grounded criteria. First, advanced nesting and incubation.
We look for evidence of complex structures, like mounds of rotting vegetation used as natural incubators.
And the ultimate parental sacrifice, brooding, the act of an adult sitting on the nest.
Second, post-hatchling care. Did the young hatch ready to fend for themselves, or were they altricial, helpless, weak-jawed, and utterly dependent?
The more helpless the baby, the more devoted the parent must have been.
Third, direct provisioning and defense.
Is there evidence that adults brought food to a nest?
Or did a parent die in the act of defending its young? These are the moments where behavior is frozen in stone. From defensive formations to group migrations, the existence of a herd or pack is a powerful form of parental investment. Our 5 contenders represent the pinnacle of these strategies. They are drawn from across the Mesozoic world.
With the criteria set, the stage is ready.
Coming in at number 5 is the living fortress of the late Cretaceous, Triceratops.
For a century, we saw it as a solitary titan, but the fossil record has revealed a profound truth.
Triceratops earns its place on this list for mastering one criterion to an unparalleled degree: social structure as a defensive strategy.
The discovery of massive bone beds containing mixed age groups shattered the myth of the lone wanderer. We now know they moved in multi-generational herds, a mobile fortress where the young were the most precious asset. The adults would form a defensive wall, placing the vulnerable juveniles in the protected center.
Every adult in that formation was staking his life on the next generation.
It is this transformation of an entire herd into a single, unified nursery that places Triceratops firmly on our list.
From the shadows of the Jurassic forest emerges the apex predator, the fearsome Allosaurus.
Our number 4 entry is a surprising one of the most ferocious predators of the Jurassic, the different lizard, Allosaurus.
What is a killer doing on a list of devoted parents? The answer lies in a compelling theory of pack behavior and direct provisioning. Paleontologists have unearthed skeletons of adult Allosaurus that suffered horrific, crippling injuries, yet survived for months.
A lone predator in such a state would starve. The only plausible explanation is that it was being cared for. If an Allosaurus pack invested so much energy in caring for its wounded adults,
it is a near certainty that they applied the same strategy to their most valuable members, their young.
This theory of pack care places Allosaurus on our list as a likely provider, and a fiercely protective carnivore parent. In the Cretaceous plains of Montana, the small Oryctodromus digs rapidly at the entrance to a burrow, sending sprays of dirt behind it.
Our number 3 parent may have lacked intimidating horns or claws, but it possessed a skill that was arguably more effective. It was an architect.
Experience. Oryctodromus earns its spot for an undeniable masterpiece of advanced nesting.
In 2007, a remarkable fossil was discovered. The remains of an adult and 2 juvenile Oryctodromus huddled together.
Not on an open plain, but at the end of a complex underground burrow they had excavated themselves.
By digging a burrow, the parent provided its young with a sanctuary, a climate-controlled nursery safe from the predators.
This was a parent that engineered a way to keep danger from ever finding them.
Welcome to Egg Mountain, a vast nesting ground for Maiasaura.
Our runner-up is perhaps the most famous dinosaur parent of all, a creature whose very name means the good mother lizard.
Maiasaura perfected the nursery, scoring high marks in nearly every one of our criteria. Their complex nests of rotting vegetation generated heat to incubate the eggs, a brilliant example of advanced nesting.
But the smoking gun for Maiasaura is the evidence for post-hatchling care.
Fossilized hatchlings show while their leg bones were developed, their jaw joints were weak, and their teeth showed no signs of wear.
They were utterly helpless and could not feed themselves. The parents had to remain with the nest, bringing back food for their altricial young.
For decades, Maiasaura was the undisputed champion. What could possibly top the good mother lizard? The answer lies not in the story of a whole society, but in the final, breathtaking.
Our number 1 prehistoric parent is a dinosaur whose very name is a lie, Oviraptor.
The name Oviraptor Philoceratops literally means egg thief with a love for ceratopsian eggs.
For 70 years, Oviraptor was maligned as a villain, a cunning raider of nests.
But in the 1990s, new fossils of its close relatives, like Sitipati, were unearthed from the Jadokta Formation.
These fossils were breathtaking. They were skeletons of adults, found sitting directly on top of nests filled with eggs.
This was the paleontological smoking gun. The posture is undeniably, remarkably, bird-like.
This wasn't a predator caught in the act of stealing. This was a parent caught in the ultimate act of nurturing.
We are looking at direct, fossilized proof of brooding.
This animal was using its own body and its coat of feathers to shield its eggs from the harsh desert sun, and to keep them warm during the cold nights. Furthermore, multiple brooding specimens were found, all having perished on their nests.
As the storm approaches, a brooding parent watches on.
This is the most profound evidence of direct defense imaginable, a parent that chose to stay and protect its clutch.
The final, beautiful irony is that the eggs Oviraptor was first accused of stealing were, in fact, its own.
The egg thief was a devoted parent, giving its life for its young.
For providing the most direct, undeniable, and heartbreaking evidence of sacrificial, bird-like devotion.
The Oviraptorid family of dinosaurs are the undisputed apex champions of prehistoric parents. Its tough, overlapping scales form a complex mosaic of earthy greens and deep grays. In the silence of ancient echoes, a gentle touch connects the present to a distant past.
A chorus of soft, frightened chirps can be heard from the Triceratops' calves.
Each serration, a miniature blade designed for one purpose: to tear. An injured hunter receives a life-sustaining gift. Here, a young Allosaurus playfully snaps its jaws at its sibling in the den, a moment of youthful energy.
That thing. This small dinosaur uses its powerful, clawed forelimbs to rapidly excavate dirt from its burrow entrance.
For now, this dark, cramped burrow is home.
The parent Oryctodromeus nudges its young deeper into the burrow as the shadow of a predator passes. With slow, deliberate movements, the massive mother steps carefully around her tiny, clumsy offspring. These vast plains of Cretaceous Montana are home to a truly immense spectacle. Every moment is a test, every rustle of leaves a potential threat.
This remarkable fossil, a brooding Citipati, vividly displays key bird-like features.
Its feathers create a protective seal, shielding them from the elements. In the vast Gobi Desert, a shift in the air, a whisper of what is to come. Sand begins to pile up against the brooding parent's body, which hunkers down deeper over the nest, refusing to move.
The devated parent.
This difference in size highlights the challenging early life of a young Triceratops.
After careful excavation, the delicate fossil is prepared for transport, ensuring its preservation for future study.
Hell Creek was a volatile place, a testament to the raw.
An Allosaurus pack moves stealthily through the dense Jurassic forest as a coordinated, intelligent unit. The desolate yet beautiful Mongolian desert, where the Oviraptor was discovered. The brooding Oviraptor.
The Triceratops herd.
The lush, verdant foliage, the flowing river.
In the primordial forest, a shadow falls, signaling the arrival of an ancient terror.
A Triceratops calf rests safely under the immense protective shadow of its mother's massive body.
These oviraptorid eggs provide a rare glimpse into the reproductive lives of these fascinating ancient creatures.
Work is done for the day.
The Jurassic Plains are a dangerous world, but the Allosaurus is perfectly adapted to survive.
This hatchling has a long way to go.
The undisputed champions of prehistoric parenting.